Farm Small, Farm Smart Daily is part of the Modern Grower Podcast Network. Check out some of our other shows like Carrot Cash Flow, the Growing Microgreens Podcast, and Farm Small, Farm Smart. Learn more about the shows using the link below. Where are the fatal flaws with some of the beginners coming in?
Yeah, I pondered this question a little bit before we got together. So you put a nuance on that question, which is with beginners. So I might want to answer it twice, one for beginners and one not for beginners.
Sure.
I think for beginners, I've got two things that are screaming at me. One of them is folks thinking they don't need training in order to have a completely different career, which is a little thing as someone who considers farming a profession. For a person to just decide I'm going to be a farmer now, and I can watch a YouTube video, and I'm going to take the course from such, and I'm going to listen to podcasts, and then I'm going to know how to farm, seems naive and overly simplistic. So that's one thing that kind of bugs me and worries me at the same time. And the other one is for folks who are, because they're learning through social media and online courses, they're easily distracted and easily led astray. And I'm talking strictly in production, growing plants, harvesting something, plants or animals for money. They get like a baby gets distracted by whatever comes across their view shed, and they can go down a rabbit hole or a wormhole or whatever, however you want to talk about it, and forget about the core principles of soil health or of business, and get all wrapped up in things that are extraneous. You know what I mean?
100%. I've talked to a few different people this week, and you get a lot of stories. I've talked to people who have been very successful, at least financially successful. And I've talked to people who've struggled, and I've seen both sides of the coin through the people I've talked to. People who feel like, whoa, this is really hard. I'm not sure I can make a living doing it. Yeah. And there's other people who've systematized it and figured it out, and they're doing well in their own context. For people that are struggling, you have half an acre, some amount of land, and you're grossing $15,000 a year. Like that, you're not making a living off of that. That's a glorified hobby.
Yep.
Where do you think, obviously you don't know these people, but where do you think people in that category are going wrong? What are they missing if you're only making that much off of land that could probably produce a lot more?
Yeah, they're missing, they just aren't producers. They don't have the growing chops, so to speak. That would be, I would consider that's probably the first place to go. There's something wrong with their soil resource, and combined with not knowing variety, timing, spacing. I see people, the bulk of my clients are in the southeast of the United States, where we have poor soils pretty well across the board. Whatever soil was born here is washed away 200 years ago. And so people are thinking that they can be JM Fortier and do, or even Ben Hartman lean stuff, and they can cram in huge plant populations, but their soil resource is not developed in order to support that many plants. And so they have the correct plant population, but they're all sad. They have lots of sad plants instead of less happy plants. And so it's just this very big kind of rookie mistakes, I think, because they don't know what haven't tried before. They haven't worked for somebody else where they can see, oh, this is how it's done. This is a good system. This is what good looks like. You know what I mean? They don't know what good looks like with their eyes, with their actual eyes in their ecosystem, geography, wherever they live.
How do you refine that? Now you can't look at social media because people are only putting up the best stuff, and it's always probably been modified to look even better than it actually is. So if you are new, Is it visiting other farms? Is it
Yes.
talking to other growers? How do you know?
Yeah, that's the thing. If someone is not married with children and highly saddled with being in one certain place, I think that working for somebody else, even if it's volunteering one afternoon a week for a whole season, would be just invaluable experience to see the flow of a season across the months, a variety of experiences from planting, weeding, harvesting, and hopefully some kind of selling. So, yeah, get thee to somebody's farm if you're going to work for them or if you're going to visit with them, and connecting with extension resources. I get a lot of newbie phone calls and they don't even know what extension is. They don't know that extension exists. And granted, it's a mixed bag, right? There's some really great extension agents out there who will be helpful, and then in some areas there aren't. But it's not understanding kind of the service provider base that does come with agriculture in the United States. Any kind of seeing real plants growing, that's what I want. I want people to do.